There it is.
Okay, good.
Hey, our good friend Robert Nistico is the founder and CEO of Splash Beverage Group. They are publicly traded under the stock symbol SBEV, and you can go to a couple of websites. You can go to copadavino.com, you can go to salttequila.com, you can go to tapout.com or splashbeverategroup.com. One of my favorite guys who's been more busy than any other guest that we've ever had in the last couple of weeks, but Robert's here. Robert, how are you, brother? Good to see you.
Gentlemen, how are you today?
My goodness, you have been, and I know that some of the stuff you can talk about, other stuff you can't.
Oh, great.
Right? I mean, long story.
It's so frustrating because you know how much I love what I do, and I'm like this the whole time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, because it's interesting. I think this is a good lesson for folks that are that don't understand what it's like to be a CEO of a public company.
That's me.
You're bound to let everyone know at the same time.
Oh.
If you want to know one rule about the SEC and FINRA, they just want to make sure everybody gets the same information at the same time, so there's no advantage to any one shareholder. Robert, that's got to be tough when you're doing business out there, and you're making it rain. But you can give us an overview. Tell me what's been going on in the last 4 weeks since we've talked to you with respect to Splash, because you got a lot of stuff going that you can talk about.
Yeah, absolutely. I just don't want to go down the Martha Stewart path. So obviously,
I see.
Yeah, probably not a good idea.
Yeah, be very careful. But we've been exceptionally busy. We're executing on our strategy. You all know the 4 brands that we have currently, and it's public information that acquisition is a large part of our strategy as well. So if you would consider that, one of our future activities, though, we're looking at other brands and things. We'll see what happens.
Vague enough.
Sorry, no.
Vague enough.
No, so here,
How's that for vague?
But I also think that this is important to think about, because you have a couple different business models here. One model is creating beverages in a beverage market, both alcoholic and not. The other one is acquisition. That is a business model in and of itself, correct? And you've got to sort of juggle both of those things at the same time, because they're two legitimate strategies. M&A is one thing, and product development's another thing, correct?
That's exactly right. And the challenge, actually, one of the reasons we took the time to go public and then uplist to a national exchange, of course, you guys know we achieved that about 6 weeks ago or so, was to give us access to public capital, which falls right in line with, job 1 or job 2, whichever you call it, for really focusing on acquisition. But then I always tell people, we have a business to run on top of that. So it's really been a lot of work, a lot of activity, but very satisfying. All our legacy brands are performing extremely well. Our first acquisition, if you guys remember, was Copa di Vino, doing really well with that brand. Everything's going well.
Can I tell you, Copa di Vino I believe, is going to be your leading product, because I can tell you right now. So we've been doing a lot of these summer concert series out across the country.
Yeah.
Right. And there's literally, we're on stage when there's 5,000 people out there, and every one of them is struggling with a bottle of wine, and it's in a to-go setting.
Yeah.
And I can tell you, the minute this, you understand influencer marketing better than anybody. In fact, in your past life, you were one of the first guys to actually deploy influencer marketing for Red Bull. But and here's a guy that can tell you why it fails and so on and so forth. But don't you think that? All of your brands are fantastic, but I think this Copa di Vino thing is going to have real legs to it, don't you? Are you in agreement?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we bought the brand for several reasons. I think we talked about that once before, but honestly, as a standalone brand, it's really high quality wine. It's in an innovative package. It's perfect for venue consumption, right? Sure. And even if you're just drinking it at home, or even clubs and restaurants, they don't want to necessarily open a by the glass bottle and let half the bottle spoil. So it's a very good quality product, single serve, and people love the little clear glasses. They take them home, they use them for things.
It's interesting. I was at the Petco Park the other day for a Padre game. Yeah. And when you order a beer at Petco, they used to give you a plastic cup with beer in it, and you still can get one. But more times than not, they're giving you a tall boy, a can of beer nowadays. So I think this is the future. Hey, Robert, talk about distribution with you guys, because let's face it, when you were the 5th employee of Red Bull North America, and you pretty much led the startup from 0 sales to $1.5 billion in sales, distribution is in a very close second to product development, correct?
Yeah, I'd even argue. I had a mentor back then, and he would say distribution is the single most important thing. And frankly, I agree with him. I can take a product. Fortunately, our products are all outstanding. The liquid is in the bottles and the cans, and they deliver their promises. But the idea of having a great product, and if you can't get it to the consumer, it's useless, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
right. So distribution is everything, you guys. And one of the things we're very fortunate, and I have the luxury of, with a very strong team, giving away Red Bull distributorships across the country, mostly to the beer network. So the direct store delivery, the beer network folks will absolutely take our call, right?
Yeah, right.
And then we already have vendor numbers with all the key broadliners like KE and UNFI and McLean and Core-Mark. So if a chain comes to us and says, we want tap out and we want it in the Texas market, but we want it to go through KE, we can do it. Boom, product will be there in 5 days.
Right.
Wow.
Distribution is everything.
Can I ask you, Robert, why do you think distribution, and I can, listen, I'm in the TV business. Listen, if we don't have distribution, we're Wayne's World in the bottom of a garage, right?
Yeah.
I'm in the music business. I decide a record deal, and if they don't have distribution, it's like every other band. Why is distribution always so underestimated? And you're the exact guy to ask about this because, again, going back to your days at Red Bull, and then now with this success, you've got it with Splash Beverage and SBEV. Talk about that. It's always underestimated, isn't it?
Yeah. I like to talk about, I've met so many people. I met a wealthy man or woman, and they go to the zoo and they pick a color and an animal and they can something and they think, I'm going to sell it to Walmart. I'm going to sell it to 7-Eleven. And they don't understand the difficulties and the importance. It's two-stage. Not only is it important, it's very difficult to gain distribution today. I was a top executive at Republic National. And it took me months and months to get my own tequila in that company.
Yeah.
So, I'm an insider. So it's a very, very tough thing to do. And I think a lot of people don't understand, to finally answer your question, that in this country, we're operating something called the 3-tier system. And beverage alcohol is required to be in that system. The difference is in most countries, non-alcoholic products don't necessarily have to follow those rules, but they naturally flow into those rules and regulations in this country. So there's 3 tiers, 3 layers of, retailer, distributor, supplier, wow. And it's just difficult to navigate. And unless you know what you're doing and they don't know who you are,
what's interesting is people spend so much time on their product, whether it be their brand as a, let's say, keynote speaker, or their brand of the next shirt or whatever. And basically advertising is paying for distribution. But when you're in some industries, music, beverages, food, shelf space, it's tough on that. And I will tell you, time is the enemy of a close. Time kills all deals. And if you don't have distribution to get stuff out to market quickly, I think that's a big piece of this.
That is absolutely true.
I think so too. By the way, his name is Robert Nistico. Robert Nistico is the founder and CEO of Splash Beverage Group. They are publicly traded under the stock symbol SBEV. You can go to splashbeveragegroup.com and see all of them. Well, let's turn our pages here, buddy, to the agave grown and distilled from the mountains of Jalisco, Mexico, your salt brand, because I can tell you, you sent us 3 bottles, yet there's only 2 left here.
I feel like Carol Merrill. I feel like Carol Merrill here. Where did it go? I don't know.
If you walk into the Loft 100 studios, okay?
Yes.
Now, of course, the Big Biz Show is a set at a bar, right? Much of this booze is just colored water. But out there in the lobby, the sumptuous lobby, we have a full bar.
Yes.
And there literally was 3 bottles out there, and I look out there, and there's 1.
Yep.
So talk about that real quickly before let's get out of here today.
Yeah, and there was 1, right?
And there was 1.
Yeah, honestly, I got to tell you, I've been all over the world with many, many distilleries and breweries, et cetera, but our distilling partner in Jalisco, it's called Premium Distillers. It's 7th generation family. The place is stunning. It is spotless. You can literally eat off the floor. Yeah. Sometimes we'll actually sit in the warehouse and have lunch sitting on the floor.
Right.
It is amazing, amazing quality. This family only builds the highest quality 100% agave products. So that's what's nice. I mean, what's driving spirits today, 3 things. It's quality, 100% agave, single barrel bourbon, et cetera. it's the tequila category itself is actually driving the entire spirits segment, and flavors. So the three things that really driving spirits today, the key drivers, are all packed into our salt.
Well, yeah, and you've got citrus, berry, as well as chocolate, and I will tell you, I didn't just hear this from a friend. I can tell you, I've participated in the salt 100% agave tequila. Robert, thank you so much, brother. We'll see you next week. Robert Nistico, founder and CEO of Splash Beverage Company. SBEV, that's their stock symbol, and go to splashbeveragegroup.com.
Don't know what could happen to the other two bottles.